Yo, what the fuck is up, YouTube? Alright, so I'm coming back into the game. I know I took a little break, but I'm back and I'm not doing no holding my tongue, talking in code, blah 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 blah. Fuck that. Nah. Like, I realized I was doing shit all wrong. Like, it's like, I don't care. I'm not trying to make money. I made that clear from the very beginning. So, anyways, I'm not gonna waste no time with a fucking monologue or nothing, and I'm gonna just hop straight in with a banger. All right. So, these are three creepy ass motherfuckers that two of them were teachers, one of them was a doctor, and it doesn't end up well for really any of them, honestly. So, I'm gonna go in order, and I can even attach two links that can explain two of them. I'm not sure about the last one, but whatever. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is a guy named Coach Smith. Real name, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to put this full on blast. Okay, he was the football teacher at the first high school that I was at, West Torrance High School. Okay, so like growing up, if you've seen any videos on my channel or whatever, like I've briefly talked about like how like me and the homies like in middle school, we were playing tackle football like every day and shit, like tackle football. Like people would get hurt all the time. Like they had to like pull us to the side, tell us to stop. We still did it anyways, regardless. When high school came around, people were like, "I'm gonna play football for, I'm gonna play football for high school. Play football for high school." So me, like I could have done it, but like, and I mean, this isn't even a great excuse, but I had summer school every year of school that I've been in school, like up until graduating. I got credit for barely any of them, but I had summer school every year. So, like, these people were trying to tell me, like, dude, after so, because there were some kids in summer school that they would go straight from summer school to going to football practice, and like I was just not down with that. Like I wanted my time, and they'd be like, begging me because they had like I'm not trying to make myself embellish anything, whatever, but like there were people literally begging me, like, yo, come try out. Like I talked to blah blah blah, like come try out, blah blah. Like, and I was just like, nah, I'm cool, I'm cool. And like, like they start going through Hell Week, and then like, you know, like I can't chill with any of my homies because they're always either tired or they're practicing or whatever. And like, even like the most footballiest football like homie that I had, like I think after like 2 years was like, I'm done. Like I don't even want to do this shit anymore. So just the way it works sometimes. But anyways, I say that to say that like I can remember like because a large majority of my friends ended up being coached by this guy, Coach Smith. I'll say his name as many times as I don't give a shit. So this fool, like, I don't know how it works everywhere, but at that school, and if you know my story, I went to three high schools, so differences. It's if you pay attention, you notice the differences. So there were always these girls that would be around the football team, and they were called like the stats girls, the stats girls. But really, what I feel like they were the ones to like fill up the water bottles and just do like the chore type shit. Really, like that's what it seemed like to me. I never really delve into it and ask questions. So, anyways, I can remember one time my homie telling me, like my really really good friend telling me about before they could get their uniforms, this guy would make them kiss him on the cheek. This coach who was like in his like 40s, or like I don't know how old he was, but he was definitely like, he wasn't like some young. Not that it matters. I don't give a shit how old you are. I'm not kissing you on the fucking cheek. Nah. But like I remember my friend telling me that, like he was like, yeah, like he made us all kiss him on the cheek to get our uniforms. Like I don't know if that was like every time they got the uniforms or if it was just like that first time they got them or whatever. But like I clocked that. I clocked that. I was like, that's fucking weird. I don't like that. Like I'm glad I stayed the fuck away. Shout out to summer school. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but hey. So that was something that never left my mind. And then one day I come to school and I can remember like there were all these like news vans, like the local news, like and all this shit. Like I remember because I lived so close, I would walk to school or I would skate and stash my board because they wouldn't let us bring the board to school because so like I would go most of the way and then I'd throw that shit behind a tree or like something. And I get there and like I can remember coming on to the campus and like people were getting interviewed and stuff and like I didn't know what was going on. So I like, start asking some questions, blah 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 blah. And it basically comes out that this fool, this coach, high school football coach, was taking these girls and he was doing like bondage type shit with them. Like, yeah. Like, and I think he did it at his own house and he even did it at the school. Like, I'll attach the links in the description or whatever so you could read it for yourself and make up your own mind, I guess. But he would like literally like take these, I think he would take pictures of them and he would like wrap them up, like he would like tie them up in like his basement and like choke them and stuff and like weirdo shit. So that, and oddly enough, it's almost like this dude was prepared for it because, or I don't want to say that, but like his other job, guess what he was? He was a bail bondsman. So he was in jail for like fucking, who knows, 45 minutes or something. But he got arrested, he got fired, and I never saw his fat ass at school again. And that was just something that happened that, as time goes on, people, more things happen and it becomes like less and less of a thing or whatever. But at the time when it happened, like I said, like news crews, students getting interviewed and stuff, and like I was just, I was probably faded too, coming to school like, yo, what is going on? like. And this was my ninth grade year, very first year of high school, so like I don't really know what to expect exactly. But I just like it made sense to me. I'm like, oh wow, the guy who was making you kiss him for your jersey ended up being a weirdo? You don't say. Like, it tracked to me. I was like, that checks out. So that was the first story of Coach Smith. I don't know what his first name is. I don't give a shit. I'm not about to learn it. But read the article, okay? Now, my next one, surprisingly, or well, the second high school I was at, I don't really know. Like, I was only there for 3 months. So, you know, shit could have went down there. Could have not. I don't know. But for the time I was there was not really any type of like scandal or anything that I can remember. But how much shit can really happen in like 3 months and especially when I'm paying more attention to my iPod than anything or anyone else in the entire school. But when I get to Redondo, different story. Okay. When I get to Redondo, it was definitely like a culture shock of like just like the randomest, like it's like where I had been at before, it's like, the shady looking kids sold drugs and, there was like the jocks and stuff and like, everybody had their like cliques. That's how high school is. Like it's cliques and stuff and whatever, and like I never fit in any of them except for maybe like skateboarders or something, or other activities. But anyways, I remember this guy, he taught media arts. His name was like Mr. Haddad, something like that. I never had a media arts class or anything, but I had plenty of like homies who had like a photography class. Like sometimes you take, I think, like I took ceramics instead of learning a language. Like I was like, I'm gonna fuck with some clay, and I was horrible at that. But like, if I'm horrible at that, I wasn't about to learn no language, And they allowed it as like you can do one or the other. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna be up in here just like messing with clay and just like doing my thing. And like, hindsight, I kind of wish I had learned a language. It would have been cool, but at the time, I wasn't about to learn no fucking language. Like, I could barely, like, I would come to school and come to my project, and it would just be like dry as a bone because I didn't cover it up the right way. Like, man, it was such a waste of time. But it was fun. It was fun. It was cool. It was just a class where, it wasn't like a serious type deal. So, anyways, the closest I was to that building was a cooking class that I took one time. That I took the cooking class because I would always be faded when I came to school and I didn't eat. So I was like, hey, well, I got free food, like, like it was like I don't know. It just made sense to me at the time, Not that I ate everything that we made, but like there'd be a day where we're like making a giant chocolate chip cookie that's the size of like the frying pan or something, where I was like, all right, like, so anyways, this guy, like, I only heard about him. Like, I remember seeing him walk around and he looked weird. Like, he definitely looked weird. But he, like, I remember hearing stories of people that, like, I know one specifically that there was someone I knew that was, he was hustling at high school, and I think word had gotten around to like, it's a, people talk, whatever, and the cops came to the school and they came to search him. And I can remember that this fool was so tight with that teacher that he gave him his backpack, and the teacher was like I don't want to, I can't paraphrase or whatever, but like the teacher was cool with hiding this kid's backpack so that when the cops searched him, he didn't have any work on him or anything like that. So right there is like, that doesn't, that's a little. So anyways, that guy, one day, like, we're at school, and then like I can't remember if he got arrested at school or if it was after school or something, but I feel like I seen this guy in handcuffs getting like walked away. And then of course news crews show up and whatever, and it ended up coming out that like he would like, he did the typical like fucking pedophile type shit of like, stay after class, blah 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 blah, or something like that. And he did something weird where like I swear, like, I don't know exactly, but I swear, like, and you got to remember, this is like 20, 15, 16, like this is a long time ago. But I swear he like jizzed on some like cookies and gave them to like girls or something. It was something along those lines of like, because you'll see, I'll attach the link and you'll see like what he got charged with is like not super clear. So I can't really say exactly what he did, like, but I remember talking to some people, and some females specifically. It was never dudes, thankfully. I mean, either way, it's fucked up to do it, but like it was always females, and like I'm pretty sure that fool was like going in a little room and doing that, and then like being like, hey, do you guys want a treat or something? And then they found out and were like, like anybody else would. It reminds me of that one story that was in the news a couple months ago of like that teacher and the couple who were both teachers, I think, and they were doing that exact same shit. So I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't know what that is or whatever. But that fool arrested, taken away, and was never at the school again. Okay, so that's two pedophile teachers at two different high schools that I was at. That like it literally went down while I was there. Like I'm not telling this from like a different perspective of like I like I was there, you know. So this last one, this is the juiciest story of all three of them, in my opinion. Okay, so we got into raving and all that stuff. That was really big at Redondo. Not so much at West, not so much at North. Redondo, like everybody, every week was going to like a different rave and stuff and whatever. So, like when you go to those things and you meet people and then like everybody's trying to, get their hands on like some like acid or some like ecstasy or Molly, whatever. So, you're not exactly vetting these people of like the kind of character they are or whatever. It's just like, oh, he has that, all right, cool. So I'm gonna tell you about this guy, and I'm not holding back any of these names because I don't feel like it, honestly. This guy, we called him Astro. I don't know why that was his name, but that's what we called him. And oddly enough, where I stay right now is like a stone's throw away from where we would meet this fool. So this guy was just a fucking creep, man. Like he would show up to these events. The first time I ever met him was Cypress Hill Smokeout 2010. And we were there all day. Like I remember because it was like around the time of like it was like right in between me and my homie's birthday, and we all went, like a big group of us went, and it was a dope lineup and everything. Like it was a good show to go to. But I remember that someone that I went with that was like the main person who knew this guy. He was like, "Oh yeah, Astro's coming," and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and this rave was about to be like it was gonna be done at like 10 or 11 or something. Like we had already been there since like 12 o'clock p.m. So right there, I was kind of like, damn, this was coming all the way over here, like at like for like just barely any time. Like that's kind of weird, you know. So he eventually does show up, and I remember because I had taken like some rolls, and I remember he was coming with the acid, and I wanted to do the whatever it's called, Jedi flip or whatever, where you take both of them at the same time, you know, which is what I ended up doing. But he shows up, and he was this little roach looking motherfucker. Like he was like, I swear to God, he was like 5'6" or something. Like I was taller than him, and he was just a weirdo all the way around. And it was him and this other guy that he always kept with him, that like, and I remember my homie kind of giving me the background on him of like, yo, he's a doctor, he's gay, like this guy's his roommate, blah 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 blah. And his roommate would always have the gloves with the lights, like, can I give you a light show? Ooh, that was like stupidly big. Like I best believe I never did that, but there'd be people like, yo, I got a light show from Wiggles the other weekend, dude. Fucking blew my mind. Or you could like see somebody, like you could just be like at a rave walking to go get like some water or something, and there's like somebody sitting on the ground, and they're just like, and then on the other side of them is just some guy going with their gloves and stuff. And like people would have like their little like crews of like, oh, that's LOL, ooh, that's HAH, like, and stuff like that. Like it was a whole thing that, I didn't care. I'm sure it's trippy when you're like on those types of like substances and shit, but anyways, this fool, like, he was just a certified weirdo, man. And I'll tell you why, like, specifically. I mean, shit, that could take a long time. But I'll tell you exactly like when I realized it was. So while we were at this show, someone else met us there. Let's call him Mark. Okay. The homie Mark that I had met through a mutual friend who was also um, at the rave, and call him Seamus. Okay, so I had been to Mark's house through Seamus, and even the night before this, we were all at this this kid Mark's house, and we were all rolling up. Like I had like I don't know like an ounce of bud, and it was all just for like the show. So I gave everybody like their little bits, and we were literally just rolling blunts for like I don't know how long it took, but until we had like 30 or something, because I was gonna bring them all in, and I did bring them all in. But we rolled 30, and then we smoked like I was like, all right, let's like we're not gonna like I didn't want it to be like a not a operation of like fun. I was like spark one up, whatever. Like I wasn't trying to be like, all right, I need all of these for tomorrow. So like I probably had by the next day I probably had like maybe 25 or somewhere around there. And you know that's a whole nother thing I can get into at a different point in time. But anyways, when this guy Astro gets there, he he's there, and him and the Mark guy, it was their first time meeting, like, as well. I had met him actually, like I had been there like when people would like pick up off of him and stuff. Like that's how I know that I live a stone's throw from where that was. But basically, um, this fool, like, all of a sudden, like, I don't know how much time had went by, but like I found my homie Seamus, and I was like, yo, like, where'd Mark go? And then I was like, and then he's like, I don't know. And he's like, I don't know where Astro is either. And then we come to find out that these fools were on their way back to Astro's house for I don't know what, but like they literally met for like 20 minutes. Like, I mean, it might low key be considered kidnapping at this point, but like both the people in this story have passed, like both these people have passed away. So, um, anyways, all of a sudden we're like, yeah, like where's this fool at? Like, and then finally when someone gets a hold of him, they're like, he's like, yo, I'm on my way to Astro's house. Like, and we're like what? And there were other stories too of him trying to, like, he was always trying to give people free shit, and if you didn't take the free shit that he gave you, he'd get pissed. Like that actually happened to someone else that, like, he like I forget how he saw him stick the pill in his pocket, or he saw him do something, and like he like just like was kind of tripping. But this fool was trying to say like, oh, like it was around the time where a lot of us were turning 18, and he was like, oh yeah, you could have your birthday party at my house. Some random ass fucking gay doctor dude wanting to have like like just like imagine meeting someone for 10 minutes and then being like, oh yeah, you want to have a birthday party at my house? Like, it's like, fuck no. Like, I mean, I didn't. But and neither did my homie. He wasn't having any of that shit either. Like, he was on the same page as me. Like, he's like, I don't care what kind of shit you give me or whatever. Like, but that was a real like invitation of like, oh yeah, you can have a birthday party at my house. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he just made himself too accessible to like fucking, like, he was just a creep, man. Like, he was just creeping. He was like in his 40s or like 50 or something. Like, he was just, his skin was old and wrinkled and stuff. Like, it was weird. So remember, I said he was always with this guy that was doing the light shows and stuff and whatever. So like basically something went down where there was a kid, I'm not going to say his name, but he ran away from home, and he ends up shacking up with Astro. And this guy's family had the resources to, like, they want to find their son, like they want to find him. So like that brought a lot of heat onto Astro that, like, I remember he moved apartments in like a day. Like, this fool had to like help him move. Like, he was kind of like, yo, like, you're the reason I'm fucking moving, so you gotta, like, we gotta handle this shit. So he ends up moving somewhere else and whatever, and like that was a whole thing. And but eventually what ends up happening is the him and the, like, I don't know what kind of relationship they were in, him and the other guy. The other guy was definitely younger, and it seemed like he was kind of just there because he was getting supplied probably like free drugs and like shit like that, and probably like making money and stuff. But basically one day, I don't know how it came to the surface, but that guy said like, yo, like, I feel like Astro was a little promiscuous in his world, which is can be very fucking dangerous, as you'll see. So his friend said, like, he said, yo, like, if you give me AIDS, like, I swear to God I will kill you, delete you, whatever, don't give a fuck. Okay, he said that shit, right? So sure enough, that fool Astro goes and gets himself checked out. Or no, not Astro. The guy gets himself checked out. He goes to and gets a test done or whatever, and waits on the results and whatever, and it comes back that, like, yeah, this fool caught like HIV, and he caught it from him. So like that fool, as a man of his word of what he said, like, he killed Astro, and I'm pretty sure he got caught for it and ended up going to prison for it. He's probably still in there right now, honestly. I have no idea. But like that's how it went down. I mean, there's a lot more that I could get into and everything, but that's kind of just like the quickest way that I can get into it while still giving a lot of details. Like, really, like, there's not really a whole lot more of than I can explain, and maybe I can find that article. I don't know. I've already found the first two that I'm gonna link it in the description. But yeah, so this was two pedophile teachers and one. Imagine if that guy was your doctor. Like, could you imagine, like, if he was just like your regular, like, primary? I don't know what kind of. I forget if he was like a primary care doctor, or because we didn't get like scripts from him. It was like psychedelics. Like, that was like his thing. So, like, I don't know, but yeah, that's the story of one. It's like these people are all over the fucking place, man, and like I can't I can't stand them. It's a sickness. There's no rehabilitating it. Like, whatever state castrated that one dude in like Missouri or whatever, they're on the right track, honestly. Like, cause there ain't no rehabilitating that shit, man. They're gonna get out and do the same thing, and then they get slapped on the wrist with fucking probation and shit. And I just, like, it's very frustrating, like, and very sickening to me. So like, I don't have an ounce of sadness for any of these dudes. Like, I really don't. Like, you fucking live that life, then you better be like prepared for if some shit goes down, it's gonna go down. It's gonna go down like on you. So that's what happened, and I'm glad that, like, it's I was around, but I wasn't too much in the mix. That I wasn't, like, I don't even think I ever shook that dude's hand, like, but like, he would come around, like, trust me, like, he would come around and have his weird little things, and like, it just really depended on where your mental mind state was, of you to be like, oh, this guy's cool, or oh, this guy's a fucking creep. And I always looked at him as a fucking creep, but not everybody did. So, anyways, I know this is, I figured I owed a good story coming back after taking a while off. I'm still hurt, still recovering from an accident from January, so it's not been fun. I just got this new, like, gash in my, like, leg that I had to wrap up, that you can only see it like that. So, you know, but I'm coming back, and I'm not censoring myself. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to make money, but if you could subscribe, get my shit going around there. I got plenty more stories for days of anything you can fucking imagine. So hopefully this story entertains somebody, somewhere, somehow, and peace.